Hello everyone, my name is Tabby and welcome back to my channel Keeping Tabs, where today I am doing another original book tag. Okay, so I actually co-created this book tag with Lori and Thomas from Lori and Thomas and Emily from Emily is Going to Law School. And I don't know about you guys, but I have to say it that way. Like I can't just say, oh, Emily's going to law school. No, Emily is going to law school. Like that's how I have to say it. Even in my head, that's how it's said. Anyway, this is called the, as it says in the title, YA as an adult book tag. And this is all about being an adult and reading YA and your whole thoughts and stuff on that. This is inspired by the live show that Lori and Thomas and Emily hosted, and I was just lurking in the chat, and there are some pretty good like questions going around and things being talked about, and it inspired this tag because I don't know about you guys, but I am subscribed to a lot of adults who read YA and adult books, and I thought it would be interesting to continue the conversation with other booktubers. There's also some of these questions were asked in the chat. I think there wasn't a lot of us, but the people I remember being there were Heather from the Happy Booktuber, Cami from Cami's Corner, Joe from Not So Average Joe. Who else was there? Sarah from, I always forget her name, Serendipity. I know that Serendipity is in there. Novel Serendipity? You should know Sarah. She's got the best eyeshadow game in the business. It's Sarah. And so yeah, I just took things from the chat and created 10 questions, came up with a little bit more and altered some of the questions, and yeah, we're just gonna get right into it. I just bought this notebook strictly for tag videos and I'm so happy about it. Like, best decision I've ever made. I'm getting so organized in the booktube department. You guys should be proud. Anyways, number 1, raise your hands if you've been personally victimized for liking YA as an adult. I have. I remember I went to the bookstore with my friend. She was going to the adult section to get a Jamie Maguire book, and I wanted to get The Raven King, and The Raven King is in the teen section. And when I took her to the teen section, the biggest scoff on her face, like, teens? You're in the teen section? Yeah, I am, and it's okay. I feel sorry for her, you know, because she doesn't really read that many books, so she doesn't know what she's missing. So instead of getting offended by that scoff, I just felt sorry and I kind of educated her, and I'm like, girl, you don't know this, but you're missing a lot. Number 2, what was the first YA book you read as an adult? And luckily for me, I've been keeping track of the books that I read every year, so I can go back all the way to then, because in Canada, you're an adult when you're 18, and back then, I was still pretty obsessed with the Mortal Instruments and Vampire Academy, and I would never like even look at another book, but that was also the year when I read The Hunger Games, and that was the first new young adult book series that I read as an official adult, and it was amazing. It's such a great book, and I feel like anybody who's read that can agree that it's a really well-written book. Question number 3, have you ever read a YA book or series and thought, I'm too old for this? Because of course, there's no age limit when it comes to books, but sometimes you read a certain book and you feel a little old. And for me, that's with, okay, it's middle grade, but it's Percy Jackson. I couldn't get into that one at all. I felt a little too old. The writing was a little too childish for me, but also young adult contemporary books in general. Every time I read one of those, I feel a little too old. Yeah. Also, The Mortal Instruments, now that I have reread it. Yeah. Number 4, why do you think YA books get such a bad rap from non-YA readers? And I think it's because they get a sense of the most popular books like Twilight, and they judge it based on its cheesy romance and its stupid love triangle, and they don't think that there's any kind of life lessons to take from YA because it's geared or written for younger, more, I don't know, I was gonna say unintelligent, but like that's not true. But for a younger audience, I think it's just because they assume that there's really no life lessons in books that are written for young teenagers. Number 5, is there an adult author you would love to see write YA books? And I'm gonna say George R.R. Martin. I I don't know. I think it would be interesting to see what he has to do, like what he has to offer the YA book community genre. I feel like George R.R. Martin's world building in a young adult fantasy setting with less, description would be really cool. Also, I haven't really read a lot of adult books. I'm starting to get more into adult books, so I don't really have a lot to say, and that's why I want to do this tag to see more answers from people who read a healthy amount of, sorry, not a healthy amount, an equal amount of YA and adults, because I really don't know. I only know George R.R. Martin. Maybe Pierce Brown. He wrote Red Rising, and that's an adult series, and I would really like to see how he does with young adults, although I feel like it would still kind of be the same, because I feel like Red Rising is kind of in the middle of young adult and adult. But I don't know. Number 6, is there a YA author you would love to see write an adult book? And I would love to see Leigh Bardugo write an adult fantasy novel, and I know she's coming out with an adult book called The Ninth House, but it's not fantasy, and I want to see her do fantasy because she is a great world builder, and I think it would just be really, really good. Actually, there's quite a few young adult authors who are trying adult, like Sarah J. Maas is coming out with one, and who's that other chick? Cassandra Clare, I think, is doing one. But yeah, I would really like a Leigh Bardugo adult fantasy. And even maybe Maggie Stiefvater, and the same kind of feel of the Raven cycles, but adult themes included. I'd be down. Number 7, in your own opinion, is there a YA or an adult author who has successfully written books in both age categories? And this I don't really have a good answer for, because like I said, I read mostly YA, but I want to read more adult. So I do know that Gina Showalter, it's hard to say that last name, Showalter, I think that's how you say it. She has written lots of YA, and she does a lot of paranormal adult books. There's also, I guess J.K. Rowling, because Casual Vacancy and The Cuckoo's Calling. But other than that, I can't even really think of one. So let me know if you have an author that does both and is good at it. Number 8, is there a YA book that in your opinion should be labeled as an adult book because of certain themes, or maybe it just reads more as an adult book? And I feel like everyone's gonna say Sarah J. Maas, because no one was expecting such explicit content in Empire of Storms, because for the whole series it was labeled as YA, and YA doesn't really have all of that stuff in it. So yeah, I'm gonna say the Court of Thorns and Roses series should be labeled as adult instead of young adult, because so explicit, so X-rated, just all of it. I mean, you know. I'm not complaining, because I loved it, but it's adult. And then, like I said, I feel like Red Rising could be a young adult book. I can't really think of anything that really screams this is not for teens in that book. Yeah, I think it could be YA. Number 9, is there a book that you loved as a teen but feel differently about now that you're an adult? And I'm gonna say The Mortal Instruments, because I was obsessed with those books back in the day when I was a youngin'. And I've tried rereading City of Bones, and it's just so different. It's just so different. I don't know. It's very young, you know what I mean? Really written for the youngins. And it's hard to get into, and it's hard to relate to those characters now, because there's a lot of sarcasm in that book with the characters, and the dialogue is sometimes over the top when it's trying to be funny and witty and sarcastic, and it's just okay girl, just chill. It was funny 10 years ago, but it ain't funny now. Question 10, what do you like about YA books that you can't get from adult books? And vice versa, what don't you like about YA books? So what I like about YA books is that you get a sense of hope from these characters, because they're still young and they still have their whole life ahead of them, and nothing they do or say is set in stone. They still have time to change it, and it's just very inspiring as an adult to get that feeling that you know, it's not over. You can keep going. Your life is not done. You are still young. You can still change things. You can still do this, that, and the other. And it's just also very adventurous. And I feel like adult books, there's so many like concrete topics like marriage and my husband's cheating on me and like kids, and I am not at that part of adulthood yet, so I can't really relate to things like that. What I don't like about YA is sometimes it feels a little trendy when it comes to being like inclusive with diverse topics and problematic topics. When it comes to trying to address those things and trying to be diverse, it can get a little trendy and it feels so like forced, like they're trying to be diverse because that's what's in right now, so let's add all of these diverse characters in. So yeah, I don't really like that. I don't feel like like I said, I haven't really read a lot of adult books, but the ones that I have read, I haven't gotten that feeling from. But I feel like there's also not a lot of like publicity for adult books, at least not where I look, so maybe that's different. I don't know, but it feels like YA can be pretty trendy right sometimes when it comes to diversity and problematic stuff, and yeah, it's annoying. As the title suggests, this tag is kind of dedicated to adults who read young adult books, but it can also be dedicated to young adult books who read young adult people who read middle grade books. In general, this tag is for people who read books that are targeted for an age range that they are not in anymore. Like they're either older than that bracket or they're younger or whatever. So anybody can really do this tag if you read books that are, like I said, geared towards older or younger people than you are. Love repetition. That was the tag. I think it's kind of interesting. I don't know. Coming up with tags is hard, but I liked this whole discussion on the live show, so I just wanted to create a tag from it, and maybe you guys will do it. I will tag some people. Maybe I'll leave the list here. And yeah, that's it. Oh God, I hate outros. Bye. Just goodbye.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Keeping Tabs, where today I bring you redo. Today there was a floof. This is a hard question. So hard. I put makeup on today, only to hide the fact that I haven't brushed my hair in a good while. God damn. Well, I feel like I didn't put any deodorant on, but I know I did. You know what I feel? You know that feeling? When you just feel feels a little clammy. But I know I put deodorant on. TMI. Bitch. Guys, this tag is so sloppy. I'm so sorry. Baby, I'm sorry. Not sorry.